Hard work, all the pain, all the sweat, all the anguish, the time is now. Ain't no run, ain't no hide. Two teams gonna enter, and one team gonna leave with his head up, the other's gonna leave with his head down. If you get knocked down, that's okay. It's who can last the round. And you got to throw them balls. You can't hold nothing back. Don't get caught up in the hype. It's time to fight. From beginning, you fight to win. In the middle, you fight to win. In the end, you fight to win. We always work to what? Win. Let's go win.
And hello everyone, welcome to the ASU Football Buzz with Coach Brian Jenkins. I'm your host, Mo Carter, and once again, as always, I'm joined by Coach Brian Jenkins, the head football man here at Alabama State. Coach Jenkins and the Hornets, they're coming off another spectacular win, making it 2 in a row against Texas Southern. First of all, Coach, we're here inside your locker room next to the new ASU Stadium where all the pregame talk's going on. What happens in here before you take your guys out on the field?
Well, this is the place where we give the last direction to our players and get them to understand, what we're trying to accomplish and keeping them focused on the goal at hand. And once they get the last instructions or the fight plan, we go out that door and we try to carry that fight plan out.
All right, and then you roll right down the row and then onto the field, through the band. And
absolutely, right down the tunnel and into the ring, as we call it, and we try to make it happen.
All right, well, of course, you were on the road last week, but you picked up another big victory in conference play against Texas Southern, 41-23. What were your thoughts about that victory on the road?
Well, it was a great victory. I mean, we played a very good football team in Texas Southern. Got a lot of respect for their head coach, who's had a lot of success over the years, and I mean, he's building that program up slowly. It was a hard-fought game, but it was good to see our guys compete for 4 quarters. And I've always said, if we can put a complete game together, then we really got a chance at winning. And we did that Saturday. I mean, our offensive line played phenomenal football. They were very physical. They took over the trenches, and that allowed our running backs to be very effective. Once again, at the quarterback position, we played very positive. Defensively, we were bend but don't break. Special teams were solid. And whenever you can get that type of effort, in totality, you give yourself a chance to win. So it was a good victory over Texas Southern this weekend.
And on another note, a national television audience got a chance to see the Hornets and what they're about moving forward, right?
Right. I think we represented ourselves well. I think they saw a good, disciplined football team along with a compassionate and passionate coaching staff. So it's always good to get on TV and represent ASU and show the nation what ASU is all about.
All right, everyone, we'll take a look at a couple of highlights from the Alabama State Texas Southern game, and then after that, we'll go to break, but we'll be right back and we'll break down the entire game when we return with the ASU Football Buzz with Coach Brian Jenkins.
For nearly 150 years, Alabama State University has embraced a mission that is student-focused, academically rigorous, and increasingly global in its vision and scope, with a growing emphasis on scientific research and innovations. With more than 5,000 students representing all 50 states and hailing from countries around the world, Alabama State University offers more than 50 academic programs housed in its 6 degree-granting colleges. As the university expands its science and technology footprint, 2 of our colleges are working on major advancements in STEM-related research and applications. The College of Health Sciences, which boasts in-demand programs such as physical therapy and prosthetics and orthotics, is changing lives with technological advancements that improve the quality of life for injured veterans, stroke victims, and patients who have experienced amputations and other injuries impacting motor control. A recent $500,000 Department of Defense grant was used to secure a state-of-the-art interactive system that allows for advanced study of human motion. Students and professors in the College of Science, Mathematics, and Technology are conducting cutting-edge research in areas ranging from nanobiotechnology to tissue engineering, thanks to millions of dollars in grant funding from institutions such as the National Science Foundation, the U.S. Department of Energy, and the National Institutes of Health. The college is home to several STEM-related centers of excellence, including the National Science Foundation's Center for Nanobiotechnology Research. The university's flagship college, the College of Education, has been ranked among the nation's leading producers of African American educators. The College of Liberal Arts and Social Science prepares graduates for careers in fields ranging from communications to law. The College of Business Administration is recognized for producing entrepreneurs and leaders in business and industry. The College of Visual and Performing Arts has launched graduates to Broadway and beyond. From Broadway to boardrooms, from classrooms to crime scenes, ASU graduates are leaving their mark and making a difference in Alabama, in the nation, and around the globe. Alabama State University. Opportunity is here.
And we're back on the ASU Football Buzz with Coach Brian Jenkins, Mo Carter, and Coach Brian Jenkins in the building once again. Now, Coach, let's talk about that great win over Texas Southern, 41-23. And let's actually kind of break down some things.
Right.
Interesting moment, though. Beginning of the game, someone else scores first compared to what you guys did, and that's been something that you guys have been doing the first couple of games.
Right. And I tell you what, we knew going into the game that their offense was capable of putting up points, and they've proven that. I didn't think they would drive down the field on us in 3 or 4 plays and score, but a couple of our guys were out of position. It was a lack of communication. It was great execution on their part, and they punched it in the end zone. But I tell you the thing that was really impressive is how our guys responded. Our offense got right out there, put together a good drive, and responded with a touchdown. And it's always good to see your team respond in that type of manner.
Yeah, Brad Woodard was the guy that scored for Texas Southern, 54-yard touchdown. As you mentioned, a couple of guys got out of place. As you look at some of these highlights, you see he just breaks a couple of tackles, cuts it across the field, and he's off to the races.
And I tell you what, he's a good talent now. And we knew going into the game that they had 2 running backs that were pretty good. And I think those 2 running backs are near the best in the conference. And we knew if we gave them a little wiggle room of what they could do. And that's why I was a little disappointed, because we worked on it hard during the week of not giving those guys space to make a play. And we were just out of position, but we were able to gather it back together. And like I say, the offense took the field and responded, and we were able to drive right back down the field and put 7 points on the board ourselves.
That's right. Ellis Richardson, the young man who has started once again. He's coming off a great performance last week, and he showed it this past Thursday. Just driving the offense down, using his legs and using his arms. But I'll tell you this, that touchdown was really impressive because he took a huge hit near the goal line but kept on trucking.
Well, he did. He did take a huge hit near the goal line, and that's what happens when you face an aggressive defense like Texas Southern. But I was glad he was able to hold on to the ball and punch it in the end zone. And it just showed you his determination and his leadership in completing the play.
All right, now moving back down the field on the next drive, Texas Southern responds with another touchdown drive. It goes for a long way, and then they punch it in, 1-yard touchdown with the other running back, Robinson.
Right. Well, going in on that drive, I thought the young man fumbled the ball. And I thought it was a touchback, really, but the refs made the call and said he was down at the 1-yard line, and they were able to punch it in. But once again, we in our saying, we got punched in the mouth. But we sucked it up and came right back and responded. So that was good to see. Our team, was focused and at no time got discouraged.
All right, moving on into the second quarter. They're up 14-7, but you guys respond. Ellis Richardson driving the team down the field, and after a little run pass option here and there, next thing you know, he hits a swing pass to Khalid Thomas.
Right.
He tight ropes down the sidelines and then gets to the end zone for a 21-yard score.
And I tell you what, Khalid Thomas is really coming on. I think he's really finding himself in this offense, and I mean he's performing better and better every week. And to see him catch the ball and then tight rope down the sideline and punch it in the end zone the way he did was exciting. And the thing that we're starting to see is a lot of things that we practice are starting to carry over to the game, and the guys are starting to execute it well. And the one thing I tell our guys, if you guys can just execute the way you've been coached, then you give us a chance to have positive plays. And on that drive, I mean, Ellis and there's a lot of other guys just made continuous positive plays. But once again, I think it all went back to the play of our offensive line.
Right.
They did a phenomenal job keeping that defensive front off of Ellis, and they did a phenomenal job opening up holes where our running backs had a chance to do some things.
I totally agree with you on that one, because Ellis had a lot of time back there, and whenever he got pressure, he just took off and ran, and then you see the linemen just making the big blocks down the field too.
Right. Coach Prince Pearson is doing a wonderful job with our offensive line, and it took us a couple games to gel and get some things together, and we've had some shuffling around in the lineup, but most of all those guys were clued in and they were physical. And I tell you what, if our offensive line can continue to play at that level or better, it gives us a great chance at winning.
Now moving on with the game, Texas Southern gets the ball kind of on a short field, but your defense does respond, holding them only to a field goal.
And that was good. I mean, our guys really didn't back down defensively. You know, I think we were outmanned a little bit, which I think we're outmanned in every game, but our guys got some fight in them, and they showed that. And they were able to slow Texas Southern down and hold them to a field goal, which, you know, if that's the worst case scenario, I'll take it.
All right, and your guys were able to respond right before the half. Stacy Robinson with a 1-yard score near the end.
Right, yeah. Stacy, I tell you what, Stanley.
Stanley, okay.
Stanley is a tough guy. I mean, he brings that toughness to our offense, and I mean, he helps out in so many ways. His work ethic and just his attitude towards being a team player is phenomenal. And whenever his number is called, he's always ready. He really has a lot of pride in what he brings to the table for the team. So it was really good to see him punch it in down there from the 1-yard line.
And it's really good to show that, hey, you just don't have one guy in the backfield. You've got multiple guys that can definitely take the task on of being a star running back.
Definitely. We got a couple guys that can do some positive things for us, and Stanley is one of them. And hopefully those guys can continue to know their role and execute their role at a high level.
All right, so you walk into the halftime, into the locker room with a lead. What was part of the halftime? So you're not going to ask for the whole thing, because I know we ain't got enough time.
Well, I tell you what, the unique thing was when we came out of our adjustment period as coaches, the players were already having sessions themselves.
Okay.
They were already correcting each other and encouraging each other. And we were able to just fall in and give them our corrections and put it together, hear what they're seeing out there, tell them what we were seeing out there, and then come out with a second half game plan. And my main thing to our players was, hey, let's carry it and finish it. That's it. It was not much to say. Those guys knew what we had to do in order to win, and I tell you what, they came out and they did it.
Now, as we move into the third quarter, Texas Southern picks up a little momentum, and actually one of your biggest fears that you talk about was getting the ball to that big 6'7" Derek Griffin wide receiver, and that's what ended up happening. He scores the touchdown to put them back up.
Right. Well, let me tell you, he scored a touchdown, but the main part of the game, or most of the game, we kept him in check, which was really good. I think our DBs accepted the challenge of taking on one of the best receivers in the conference. And upon the score, we just had a rotation problem in the secondary, you know, and it was poor communication. But nevertheless, you know, he scored the touchdown, but our guys came to the sideline. They didn't hang their head. They were a little frustrated and upset that they allowed that to happen, but they gathered themselves together and they were able to finish the ball game on a strong end in the secondary.
Now, you always talk about finding a way to bounce back, and it only took one play to do that. Alex Anderson, just a great handoff up the middle, and the guys off the races for a long score to put you guys back on top.
Well, once again, it starts with our offensive line. You watch that play and several other plays. Our offensive line won the war in the trenches, and it gave Alex a chance to find a hole and make something happen, and he did that. And I tell you what, Alex is a phenomenal talent. He's a freshman running back out of Florida, and he has a great future here, and I think he's getting better every game. And to see a freshman come in and make the adjustment to college football so fast and have an impact, I think it's phenomenal. But it was really good to see him catch his stride and see him find a hole and take the ball to the house.
Okay, Coach, so you once again regained the lead. Alex Anderson's long touchdown. Then you put the game away with 2 late touchdowns as well. Richardson to Barnes, and then Khalid Thomas catching a screen pass and taking it all the way to the house behind those big boys up front.
Right, definitely. And I think we could have captured control of the game even a little earlier, but we had a fumble, and which we call a team-inflicted wound, and those are things that can't happen. But once again, to show you the resilience of this football team. After that occurred, the momentum swung a little bit, but we hung in there, and we were able to come back and take control of the game with those 2 touchdowns, one to Brandon Barnes and then Thomas on the screen.
All right, I got to give you some defense, some love, because around this time, Texas Southern decides to change quarterbacks, go with the guy that started early on this year. And, of course, I know you say that you were going to prepare for 2 quarterbacks, but changing the guy this late in the game, your defense can kind of be offset a little bit, but it seems like they just pinned their ears back and got a few sacks in that process, too.
Right, definitely. I think that comes from great preparation by our defensive coaches. I got co-coordinators in Lou West and Ted Dasher. They're very seasoned veterans who understand how to prepare defense. And DeMarco McNeil, John Hendricks, and Amp Campbell, the other assistant coaches, have done a phenomenal job keeping our guys into the game at their positions. So it was just all up to the preparation process that was done during the week.
And Coach, you come up with a 41-23 victory. What were some short thoughts that you gave in the locker room after that game?
Well, like I told the guys, first of all, enjoy the victory, because I don't know if people understand how hard it is to win. And I told the coaches, enjoy the moment, because it's very hard to accomplish what we accomplished Saturday night and get that type of moment in our season. And 3, like I told our players, they did a great job. They represented our university well, and we wanted to enjoy it. And then, hey, put it behind us and get ready for this good team that's coming in here on Saturday. All
right, that was your breakdown of Alabama State versus Texas Southern from this past week ESPNU national televised game. ASU wins 41-23. When we return with the ASU Football Buzz, we'll get Coach Brian Jenkins' Swarm and Sting Players of the Week, and we'll take a look at what happened in the rest of the conference this past weekend.
Don't miss a minute of Swarm and Sting. Purchase your tickets for Hornet football in person at the ASU ticket office or by calling 334-229-4551. Single game tickets start at just $10 online. That's right, just $10 online at BamaStateSports.com/tickets. The Hornets will host Southern on Saturday, October 10th at 6 p.m. at the ASU Stadium in the Breast Cancer Awareness Game. Get your tickets now!
And we're back on the ASU Football Buzz with Coach Brian Jenkins. Coach, of course, you had the big victory over Texas Southern. Who are your Swarm and Sting Players of the Week?
I would say Dontavion Garmer, the young defensive end for us, who's really stepped his game up, and he's starting to become a force to be reckoned with at the defensive end spot. And then, I got to go with Alex Anderson, the young guy. He really made an impact in the game from the first drive all the way to the last. But I go with those 2 guys for our Swarm and Sting Players of the Week.
All right, now this past week, more swag action going on around the league. Couple of out-of-conference game. A&M falls to Coastal Carolina 55-0. Right. One of the top programs in FCS.
Yeah, absolutely. I faced Coastal Carolina several times. Great coaching staff, great program.
All right. Also, Jacksonville State beats Mississippi Valley State 49-7. It just looks like the struggles continue for the Delta Devils.
Yeah, they're just struggling. They're a young football team right now, but Coach Comegy got them going in the right direction, and I really think he's going to get to the point where he's beating some people in his league.
All right, 2 conference games. Grambling State still putting up high numbers. They beat Jackson State 59-27.
Hey, Grambling State's first-class program. Coach Broderick Fobbs is a first-class individual, and he has a first-class staff, and they're getting everything out of their players to win ball games, so it doesn't surprise me.
And Alcorn continue to put up big numbers as they beat Pine Bluff 61-14.
Right. Well, they're the champ, and you got to give them respect where respect is due. Right now, they're the champ, and until someone knocks them off, hey, they're the team to beat.
All right, we're in the final stretch of the ASU Football Buzz show with Coach Brian Jenkins. We'll get a chance to talk to Coach about his next opponent, the Southern Jaguars. That's coming up next on the ASU Football Buzz. final stretch of the ASU Football Buzz show with Coach Brian Jenkins. I'm Mo Carter. Now, Coach, we're getting ready for another home game this week against Southern University, defending Western Division champions. Let's kind of just talk about the Jags. Of course, you know, they're a team to beat in the West as it seems, and I think everything starts with their biggest player, which happens to be their smallest player, it's stopping Willie Clinton.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's a special player. And when you look at film on him, he gets the wow factor. And there's not many young men that I can get the wow factor to, but this is definitely one you got to get the wow factor to. And let me say this before we go out. Let me say our prayers and our support goes out to the Southern family. I know they're dealing with a very serious situation, very heartfelt situation, and I know Coach Odoms, he's a phenomenal guy, but I know that has to be tough to watch one of your young men go through what that young man is going through. And whatever we can do to help, I want them to know that, you know, I'm here for them, our team is here for them, our university is here for them, and I think I can speak for the president and our athletic director. But our prayers go up daily for this young man in the Southern family.
Prayers for Davion Gales. Definitely appreciate you reaching out for that one, Coach. And I'm sure, you know, we'll continue to get updates on him as well as time goes along.
Definitely.
Now, as far as you mentioned Coach Odoms and what he's done with the program so far, you know, what's probably going to be the toughest task you look at going head-to-head against him?
Wow. I mean, I tell you what, they're a very talented football team, very well coached, and they take on Coach Odoms' personality. And the one thing you can see about this Southern team is they understand and know how to win. You know, they play 4 quarters of football, they're a poised football team, and they know how to win. And so the number one thing is going in against a talented football team, because they're probably one of the most talented teams that I've seen on film this year. And we just got to try to play good, sound, fundamental football. Don't do things that's going to hurt ourselves. You know, don't cause any team-inflicted wounds.
Correct.
And if we can have continuous positive plays, then we may give ourselves a chance at playing with this team that's coming in here from Southern.
All right, now, of course, this is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so it's going to be a Think Pink game. Can you talk about Alabama State's role in helping with Think Pink?
Right, definitely. I mean, you're going to see a lot of pink in those stands, and I'm encouraging everybody to come out and support, you know, ASU and support Think Pink, support breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, all kind of different cancers that have affected people of all colors and all backgrounds. And hopefully we can have a great showing. I am encouraging our fans to be there. I have free Think Pink t-shirts I'm going to be giving out myself to help as well. I've lost 2 very, very dear friends down at Bethune-Cookman to cancer, and if people can come out and just show the support, I really would appreciate it.
All right, now, of course, game kicks off at 6 o'clock, but if you haven't seen it yet, the Legends Walk, that starts at 3:45.
Right, definitely. The Legends Walk is a wonderful thing, and we do the Legends Walk to honor a lot of guys. You know, Eddie Robinson and several other guys that have played here in the past, you know. And I think we need to honor those guys and show them by doing the Legends Walk that we appreciate all the input and all the sacrifices that they've given to ASU and to this program. And it's because of them that we have the opportunity to have the great facilities that we have here.
And just on the final note, Coach, I know you have been happy with the fans that came out for the first 2 home games.
Right.
But how important will it be for them to pack these stands? Because everyone knows that the Southern Jaguars travel in bunches.
Definitely, the Southern Jaguars is one of the top traveling teams out there. And I think we need to match or outdo them with attendance. I mean, this team is coming off 2 victories. And I think these young men deserve to see the support in the stands. And I would love to have a lot of Hornets here at the Nest on Saturday, buzzing and flapping their wings and helping us sting those Jaguars.
All right, looking forward to that game Saturday at 6. It's actually going to be a big weekend of stuff. Actually starts on Friday. You're taking a look at the schedule right now as we get ready for that. But do not forget, ASU Hornets are back at home this upcoming Saturday against the Southern Jaguars in a big game. 6 o'clock, that Legends Walk is at 3:45. Pack the stands and wear some pink because Alabama State cares about breast cancer awareness and the research for it. All right, everyone, that'll do it for another episode of the ASU Football Buzz. I'm your host, Mo Carter. This is Head Coach Brian Jenkins. We hope to see you at the game on Saturday and see you next time.